right, here we go. So welcome everyone to the Seven-Figure Spiritual Leader Global event. I'm Danielle Rama Hoffman, your host, together with my guides, Thoth, the Magdalenes, and the Council of Light. So I'm so delighted for this 5-day event. I've invited some of my favorite 6- and 7-figure experts to really dive into the energetic secrets to breaking through money ceilings. It's specifically designed to go from 6 to 7 figures, and yet everyone's welcome, and it's helpful for you wherever you are. And so as we're diving into this first masterclass, this first course, I did want to take just a few minutes to welcome you all and to let you know how we're going to roll. So we're going to be streaming live on Zoom and then also in the Facebook group. And so I'm just going to check that we are live in Facebook. Yeah, so hello everyone on Facebook and welcome here for those of you who are on Zoom with me. I just really love that we get to be together in this way. So each masterclass will be available for 24 hours. And there are 4 in a day. And so I'd invite you to tune into this like a treasure hunt, that there's something here for everyone in each of the master classes, and to really be discovering your gems, your diamonds, your jewels, what you've called into asking into form, that these master classes are a response to. And also just a reminder that you can access if you want to have unlimited access to all the recordings, if you know you've got other stuff going on here this week and you want to be able to listen to them on demand and download them, then we do have a couple of multi-passes that you can purchase those. So I just dropped the link there in the Zoom, and it's also here, I'll put it in the comments here. It's also there as well. Let's see, I think I put it in the comments. All right, well, I'm not going to get distracted by the technology. So a very, very warm welcome. And I want to start us off here with the energy of love and appreciation. So from my heart to yours, I'm so delighted that you're here, and really sending you love and appreciation for your yes to step into this 7-figure spiritual leader masterclass journey. And I would invite you to also be adding in love and appreciation to our sacred containers. This is our kickoff call for our 5-day global event. To really, if you're called, add in love and appreciation for yourself, and add in love and appreciation for this energy vortex, or this community, this global community that's being created, that you've taken your seat at this council. And when we start with the energy of love and appreciation, then our journey is filled with love and appreciation. So I'm also extending love and appreciation to my team at Divine Transmissions. There's a ton of details of pulling off an event like this. So I'm sending much love and appreciation to Divine Transmissions team, and to each of you, and to the speakers, and to myself, and also to our Council in Light, in our Council of Light. I'm just tuning in. If there are any qualities that you would love to add to our energy vortex as we're getting started here, you can pop them in the chat or the comments. So what do I mean by qualities? Like a divine quality, such as abundance, such as clarity, such as connection, such as radiance, as that's one of our topics for today. So what would you be adding to our energy container here? And what is it that you'd like to receive or create from this week together, from this 5 days? That this is really like a crazy cool opportunity to really take some quantum leaps. And so, yeah, I'm hearing clarity, connection, abundance is one of the ones in the chat. Hi, everyone on Facebook. So, well, what are you adding to this container? What is it that you would like to really walk away with or to embody during this time? So gratitude, quality of ease, gratitude, quality of ease. All right, well, if you're typing, just keep typing and I'll be checking it out. So I'm just going to tune into the energy container if there's anything else, because it's important to, yeah, it's really looking fantastic. Okay, great. So let's dive into today's topic, which is the Spiritual Millionairess. Make bank, change lives, and be radiant. So when I was tuning into what Masterclass topic Thoth and the Council of Light and the team were really recommending, and the words were very specific that got downloaded, it was all about the spiritual millionairess. And so I wanted to share, before I bring in the Council of Light later on here in our masterclass, a little bit about the spiritual millionairess. And this was a term that I downloaded probably at least a decade ago. And what I love about it, and it's really supported me as I've grown to be a 7-figure spiritual leader of a global movement, it's really been a touchstone phrase for me. And one of the things that I really love about this phrase, the spiritual millionairess, and sometimes I beef it up a little bit with adding the peaceful spiritual millionairess, the peaceful, blissful spiritual millionairess, which is also why I'm asking for you to put your qualities in here as more coming in. So there's overflow of money with great ease, and service is also some of the qualities that are coming in. And that the spirit, the paradigms that really get shifted are about, I don't know how many of them, like 10 illusion lies. And so the spiritual aspect, as I've been, if you're new to me, I've been an entrepreneur in the healing arts and spirituality, in raising consciousness since the early 90s. And I've really been a leader in the shift in consciousness and unity consciousness for a while now. And when I first got on the scene, what I really noticed with spiritual was that there were these unwritten kind of spiritual equals broke or broken, spiritual, the healer archetype. And I mean this lovingly, and yet at the same time, just calling it out, that there was this sense of, well, that that a lot of individuals that were healers or here to change lives and be of service, that there was a paradigm in there that was based on something's broken, that the client's broken, that there were so many talented, incredible healers, coaches, change agents that also were broke in terms of financial flow. And that just is crazy time, or that it wasn't spiritual to be wealthy. And to me, that was just like crazy. Which brings me to the millionairess. And there's a lot that's embedded into the millionairess energy which is the second illusion lie, which is millionaires are men. And I remember when I first started opening up to abundance, because I had a lot of years where I was just super happy to be of service. I was living my mission. I was delighted, really. And then I realized, well, actually, in order for me to serve more, I really needed to contribute more to make a bigger difference. I really also needed to be nourished myself, and that my mission required money. And that I remember when I got to that point where I really needed team members, and I was like, well, this is growing beyond me, what I can do. And I didn't have at that time the financial flow to hire team and to support the mission. And so when I started opening up and learning about money and learning about abundance, and I read The Millionaire Next Door, for example, and I was meeting some millionaires or and they were all men. And even looking at the money that in US, I'm American, but I live in Southern France, that in US, there's like pictures of men, the president. So it was this thing like, well, millionaires are men and money is for men. And I'm also a women's studies major. One of my degrees is in women's studies. So you can hear that coming through. And so that there was just this clear message that in the collective consciousness of the old paradigm, that being a millionaire was for men. And when I did start meeting some women who were thriving financially and they were changing lives, I started to see, and this was also the same for me, was that it was created a lot from effort. It was creating a lot from hustle. It was creating a lot from that sense of like do. And there was a disconnect. If we circle back to the spirituality, there was a disconnect of the higher plane consciousness and what it is that we know to be true, and utilizing those universal principles. And so I either was seeing like women that were changing lives, and they were also creating abundance financially to support themselves and their mission, and yet they were burnout, or they weren't utilizing higher consciousness to do it. Or I was seeing spiritual women that were making a difference, yet weren't real. They were flying under the radar or not fully expressing their gifts because of all the reasons, right? Whether it's past lives that we're afraid we're going to be killed, or in this lifetime that there's the judgments. So there was really this absence of radiance. And I became clear, and more clear, and especially the last couple of years, as the guides have been really encouraging me to share more, to model more what this 7-figure spiritual leadership is. And it can be whatever figure it is for you, yet that it really is this triple flame of being of contribution, of having abundance, what the Magdalenes speak of as multitude abundance in all the areas that matter most to you, and then being radiant in the process, so that really being buoyed, nourished, energized. So I just am going to pause here because I know that was a lot, and I'm going to see. And this is the first time I've done this, which is also a way of just showing up and not being perfect, and yet just seeing how things are. So I'm gonna have a poll here, and I'm curious when it comes to our topic here. For those of you who are on live, and I'm just going to see if I can post it in the Facebook group, or I can just share it. So basically the poll is, which of these calls to you the most right now? Which are you struggling the most with? So the first one, if we go to our subtitle of the Spiritual Millionairess, is making bank, so opulent money. The second is changing lives, attracting aligned clients who get amazing results. And the third is being radiant, energized, rested, plenty of time and space. So if you're on the Facebook group and you want to just say like money, changing lives, or being radiant as your number one vote. And yeah. Oh, I'm so happy. I'm also sending love and appreciation to all the technology gods and goddesses that everything runs smoothly and that the technology really supports the energies. All right. So far, money is 64%, changing lives 27%, and being radiant is 9%, at least with those that are on the Zoom live. All right, so I'm just going to see in the Facebook group. And so if we go a little bit more into the money question, because this is also the fun thing about being here together live, I'm just curious, is it more about receiving money? Is it about having money? Like, does money, you're good at creating money and that it all goes out? Is it like feast and famine? And so for those of you who are here, if you want to just pop something in the chat a little bit more, is it like making that next breakthrough from 5 to 6 figures or 6 to 7 figures or whatever it is? So I'm hearing receiving it. All right, I'm gonna just take a moment to get and then we're gonna bring in the guides here and go into the transmission. I'll look at my Facebook group. All right, so in Facebook, what's coming in, yeah, so what you'd like out of it is connection to my ability to receive my own way of abundance as I am. So, cosmic love. Okay, so here we go. So that was from earlier. So money, changing lives, increasing my income, having money, good receiving it, but harder to hold it, receiving money and keeping it. All right. So I'm looking at Facebook, if anybody's typing on Facebook. And now I'm going to go back to here we are. Yeah, so that was the final. The final was making money, 54%, changing lives, 31%, and being radiant, 15%. I have to say I'm having fun with all of this. I know it's a little bit chunky when I'm looking at all the different places. So making next breakthrough. I had broken through, so invested, the money flow dried up and back to not being able to meet obligations. Same pattern at a higher level. Yeah. Sigh. Ugh. Making next breakthrough, receiving, creating, moving up to the next level of income, feast and famine, serving more clients, receiving money, breaking through to next level, receiving it. All right. Well, let's bring in Thoth and the Magdalenes and the Council Flight to really go into our leadership codes here. And even though I've asked this question, like, which one is it? Is it money? Is it changing lives? Is it radiance? They really all go together. That most likely the breaking through of your next money income, your money ceiling, is related to one of those three. Meaning, like, for example, when I went to 6 figures for the first time, I had the increase in money, and yet I was exhausted, and I didn't have the time to spend in the ways that really, in addition to my mission, because I always love my mission, yet in other ways with my loved ones, with being in nature. And so there was a part of my system that was just put on the brakes. And after I had that first multiple six figures breakthrough, like the next year it went down again. And that was the safety mechanism of the system going, your nervous system was blown out at that. Why are you going to do it? Like, so putting the brakes on it. So most likely there's some aspect of it for you as well, that the radiance, even though it was the lowest voted, and I did say pick one, that it's got to be there at the same time, most likely, at least to create new paradigm wealth, which is what we're up to here. Okay, so just take a moment to connect to Thoth and the council, inviting you to connect to your unique signature energy. Hello, dear ones. This is Thoth, the Council of Seven Money Beings, the Magdalenes, and a seven-figure council of light, including the Golden Stargate being of light, and many beings of light and love, moving more into the forefront of this divine transmission. We are delighted to be here with you, and we honor everything that has led up to this moment for us being gathered here in this way. By honoring all that has led up to being here in this now moment, that creates space. That creates space. Just as you began by opening up with the energy of love and appreciation, that creates space. And so by honoring all that has led up to this now moment, including survival consciousness, including the old paradigm of lack, of fear, of doubt, that creates space. So when we tune into the field of those of you who are part of this seven-figure spiritual leader masterclass, this global event, whether you are here with us live or you are tuning into the replay, the first energy shift, because this is all about energetic shifts, the first energy shift that you are asking for is more space. And one of the ways to create more space is to honor all that has led up to this now moment. When you have struggled with money, it has had a purpose. So by honoring doesn't mean that you prefer it or you're going to keep creating it, yet by acknowledging all has had a purpose, it just creates more space. It creates more space. And when you have more space, you also have the capacity to receive more. If your hands are full of outdated ways of being, of outdated paradigm, of being busy, then there's no space to be receiving, So that's our first energetic read on this council here. Those of you who are gathered, those of you who have said yes, those of you who've stepped in here, and we would invite you to just make a body posture, to be creating more space. And maybe you're pushing your hands up or out, just to have a sense that you are stretching, you're opening, as this is also one of the purposes of this first kickoff masterclass with us, is to create space for all of the treasures and the goodnesses that are coming in each of these masterclasses. Okay, so let's dive into our leadership codes. And these leadership codes have been in the field of the seven-figure spiritual leader masterclass. And we downloaded them last week with your divine transmitter, your channel, Danielle. And so they've been in your field, whether you're hearing about them for the first time in this now moment, yet there's a sense of they've been a part of your field because we've been transmitting them energetically, what we speak about placing the energies on the altar, and you have the choice to pick them up. So spiritual leader, so if we're spiraling in, you'll notice we spiral, and we spiral in because when we spiral, you can receive it. Spiritual leadership is also leading energetically. It's leading multidimensionally. It's leading with your higher consciousness. That if you're here for a reason. It's not an accident that you're here. And what initially you think is the reason that you're here for, which is perhaps that next money income breakthrough, that may be a piece of it, yet there's a deeper reason that you're here. And from our perspective, one of the deeper reasons is so that you can be leading even more from your spirituality, from your energy, from your multidimensionality, what we speak of as multi-dimensions. And that is also one of our leadership codes, but we'll get to that one here later on. So when you're a spiritual leader, when you are a multidimensional leader, when you are leading from higher consciousness, when you're leading from your energy, you're modeling a new way of being. And so we're inviting you to really allow that to sink in, because that's your beingness. And your beingness is directly tied to your money. It's directly tied to changing lives. It's directly tied to your radiance, your energy surplus. And so when you are really we're looking for the word, in a being state where energetically you are leading through your spirituality, your higher consciousness, your alignment, your frequency, what you know about the quantum field, what you know about the heart field, what you know about energy and consciousness, then that reorganizes the universe. That reorganizes the divine verse. That reorganizes your environment. And one of the shifts to the spiritual millionairess is that it's not going into a cave and meditating. It's in the now moment. You're always leading with your vibration, with your energy, with your spirituality, with your consciousness. And yet a lot of that spiritual leadership has been either not fully honored, or has been hidden, or has been undervalued or not fully seen. Okay, and that's also why one of the gifts that you'll receive from this seven-figure spiritual leader global event is being with other spiritual leaders. We mean the experts that are a part of this masterclass, who have created money and changed lives, and they are global leaders. And there's that when you're in with them and in the presence of their fields, then there's that that communication that happens on the energy level. And that's also what Danielle was speaking about, was that when she was first beginning her journey of being the blissful, spiritual, peaceful millionairess, she wasn't seeing a lot of models out there. And then this is our first leadership code, which is innovate. Then she realized that it actually was for her to be modeling that, to be innovating that, to be saying, yes, here is an incredibly highly consciousness woo channel healer that's been on a spiritual path for lifetimes, for many years in this lifetime, who's been contributing to others, that also has a financial flow, that also is embodied on the physical plane, that Danielle is, if you're new to her, that she's very physically active, that she just completed a 300-kilometer hike of the Camino in 12 days. She's done triathlons. She rides horses. She lives in nature. She is married, has a beloved relationship. So there is that modeling of what hasn't existed before on the Earth Star, and this innovating. And that is what we know about those that partner with us in divine transmissions. And for this week, you're partnering with us, whether you choose to continue to partner with us, and we do have opportunities to do that, or not. Those that partner with us are here to innovate. You're here to create the new paradigm of consciousness. You're here to innovate. So that also really goes into leadership. That one of the sticking points that we often see is that there can be this sense of you're here to innovate, you're here to take something to the next level. So we work with entrepreneurs, and yet we also work with experts in your field. So you may be a psychologist, and you're there to innovate something in psychology. You may be a doctor, and you're there to innovate something in being a doctor. You're there to bring something forward. So just like our Divine to Divine series that we've been offering the last 5 years or so, which this format is something that's existed in the transformational industry of having partner calls and master classes, and yet we've innovated it. We've added something to it by also having this channeling piece as a part of it. And when we have an expert that channels, we have the conversation from guide to guide. So that's an example of innovation. So we just invite you to kind of sit with the question, and we'd open up for interaction here as well. What are you here to innovate? Or another way to think about this is, what if when you innovate, the money and the clients and the radiance comes in? Because the old paradigm says, look what everybody else is doing. Fit in is also, as we help individuals midwife your legacy work, whether that's your book or your program or your business or a new modality, that there's a sense that you're here to create something that hasn't existed before. There's an innovation aspect to it. And that one of the keys to going from the best kept secret to being a highly sought after X-figure global leader is also the difference of you that makes a difference. And so what is it that you sense is you're here to innovate. And that does mean, as Danielle has a unique body of work-based business, and we also assist other entrepreneurs to create your own unique body of work-based business, that may also mean where you are letting go of your mentor's modality or what you learned from others to really innovate something new. That's also an aspect of global movement. So we're placing this first leadership code of innovate on the altar and just seeing what you might put in here. Like if you were to innovate something, what might that be? Then we're also just reading another comment from earlier. I feel like the radiance is there and my current issue is maintaining that while stepping up clients and money. So there's a fear that if I step it up, the radiance will go away. Yeah. So this is a lot of trading one form of abundance for another kind of thing. And so the Magdalenes are moving a little bit more into the forefront here. And we are inviting you, those of you that are called and you have a vibrational recognition, to join us in the multi-pass B, which includes a live interactive Zoom on video and the replays available of one of the first codes of love in the Magdalene Codes of Love program, which is the birthright of love. And it also includes an energy vortex, a remote energy vortex of the multi-D millionairess. And we're placing that on the altar at this point because a lot of what we're talking about is trading one form of abundance for another, which is very old paradigm, or what a lot of your answers are. Well, if my money goes up, then my time and energy are going to go down. And the Magdalene Codes of Love program, which starts on 11/11 and is limited to 20 individuals. So if your spidey senses are lighting up here and you want to find out about it sooner or later, then you can email Danielle's team to find out. It's really about creating abundance in the areas that matter most to you in simultaneity, which is the essence of what we're speaking about here as the spiritual millionairess. Okay, so we're just checking to see, what are you here to innovate? Yeah, so we're looking on Facebook here. So Keely says, I'm about to leave my job to work full-time in my spiritual business. So I want to clear the fear that I won't be financially supported. Robbie says, I see it all connecting, helping others through spiritual work and being rewarded financially for my work. To integrate the practice of gratitude into a wide range of industries so people practitioners can connect as individuals when they're working together. That's something that you're here to innovate. Sometimes I feel like something needs to be innovate, but it's just like I think so differently than other people that I fear it will not work or it's not the right time to talk about it. Oh, good one. My innovation is that I bring dragon frequencies to be able to empower spiritual entrepreneurs to embody their gifts and purpose to create a soulful, fulfilling business and create wealth by being who they are. Yeah, beautiful. Okay, my innovation, a particular type of spiritual executive in the workplace, already curating that. Beautiful. I'm about to write my dissertation towards completing my PhD in quantum integrated medicine at age 73. Getting thoughts and words onto paper have been stressful. It's also why we have our Scribe with Source, Scribe Your Book with Source in 100 Days program, and just connecting to Source. Here's somebody else. I have a unique journaling process that gets you out of your chatter mind energy, befriend your mind and ego. Good. Okay, so lots of innovations, lots of innovations. Emotionally fluent and resilient children who grow up knowing how powerful they are and have the skills to work together with others to solve the challenges of the world. Good. Okay, so anyone that, and we're going to bring in some light language here, and this is really a rapid way to create these energy shifts. So if you're new to light language, you can think of it as vibration, sound that has about 2,000 words in each syllable. So here's some light language to amplify the leadership code of innovate. Niyash tabia komia tinisti kashtiwa kainiankati. You are, and we're translating it here, a little bit of it, because as was mentioned, there's a lot more. You are innovative leaders. As you embrace the capacity that you have to actually innovate, which may actually seem like it's so mundane to you because it comes so naturally to you that you might miss it. When you embrace this leadership code to innovate, then all of what is being spoken here opens up, it opens up. We know that innovating can bring up fears. It can bring up the question of, is this too soon? Will others get me? Like was one of the comments in the Facebook group. I'm so different. Will anyone get it? And being on the leading wave, and that's a fear that is in the group. So we're just working with that as well and align with your free will and conscious choice, is that there's nobody there to meet you on the leading wave. And yet, what if those that actually are the lives that you're here to change find you when you step out on that leading wave? Okay, so we want to bring in just briefly here this next leadership code, which is co-create. So we have innovate, and then we have co-create. And co-create is very much a new paradigm way of being. And we mean co-create as well within yourself. So oftentimes you have two aspects of you that are very different that may seem paradoxical. Like Danielle is highly woo and multidimensional, and she's very grounded on the physical plane in terms of being detailed, being a successful entrepreneur, strategy, all those kinds of things. And for a while, those two aspects of her were in a push-pull. And now they co-create together. The seven-figure spiritual leader, the spiritual millionairess. It's a co-creation. And we also mean co-create, which is also what we're modeling here. And it's one of our foundations of those clients that we work with, that we co-create with you, we partner with you. We from the energy of divine to divine, from the energy of equality, from the energy of equanimity, knowing that just like the old paradigm of spirituality may have equal broke or broken, there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing broken. We come together to for the fun of it, for the joy of it, to walk with you and to create some shortcuts to where it is that you're headed. Co-create also means where you're co-creating with others, like it's being modeled here, where you have a power proxy, you have other individuals that you partner with to help support your work reaching a larger audience and others as well. So first leadership code is innovate. Second leadership code is co-create. And our third and final leadership code is we're going to wrap up here in the next 5 minutes, as these are usually around 45 minutes. We did take a little bit of time here in the beginning to kind of set the stage for the week. And the last one is to be multi-D, to be multidimensional. And the multi-D really addresses the receiving more without doing more. That you're creating multidimensionally. So it's not only through your action on the physical plane or your meditations on the higher plane. And sometimes we see individuals not fully integrating the two, like you have your motive way of being, and maybe it's that you've placed a higher value on action and getting things done and being logical and having structures, or maybe you've placed a higher value on the energy side of things and you have a lot of magical skills on that in the higher planes, yet the two they're not connected. So that's innovate, co-create, and really being multidimensional. We're speaking to you multidimensionally. We're speaking to you multidimensionally. And when you are multi-D, we have a lot of conversations this week as well coming up about 5D and the 5 dimensions. And we utilize multi-D to recognize that, yes, you are in a certain dimension, and that's a theme that you're on. And yet when you access all the dimensions where you reside, which include gifts and talents beyond this lifetime and alternate lifetimes, it includes communicating with your perfect aligned clients telepathically or multidimensionally. It includes manifesting while you sleep. It includes being multidimensional on the physical plane, the spiritual millionairess, and making bank, changing lives, and being radiant are that you're a multidimensional practitioner. Because a lot of what we've seen and a lot of what Danielle's experienced personally, and also with the clients, the partners that we've worked with over the years, is that the multi-dimensional being that you are gets shrunk into a few dimensions, where the entire identity can become being an entrepreneur, for example, and then the other aspects of your beingness fall away. So as we're wrapping up here, we're especially vibrating the innovate code of love and placing it on the altar here. And so we just invite you, and you may even place your hands on your chest and say, I am an innovative spiritual leader. I reclaim my code, my leadership code to innovate. I give myself permission to innovate. Innovate, 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 innovate. Okay, and taking a few breaths here as we're wrapping up, sending love and appreciation to one another, and really receiving. And in the way of integration, we would love to hear from you. What's your jewel from this masterclass? What's your biggest takeaway? What's your diamond? And when you share it, what's your treasure? When you share it, it also supports others in integrating what has been shared here. All is light and love, and we are all. All right. Danielle here, moving more in the forefront. I'm just going to take a moment to check out what everyone's been popping in here. Yeah. So congratulations, everyone. Such powerful energies represented here. The question is the takeaway. What am I here to innovate? Multidimensionality. I love this idea. Jewel, acknowledging how my other dimensional selves were not always given permission to flow into my reality, raising my awareness to be a broader dimensional perspective. So I am melding the dimensions is what is being brought forth. Yeah. And we also really want to acknowledge each of you for what it is that you're transmitting, because what I shared earlier was that one of the gifts of this week is being with other 6 and 7 figure experts and having that energy. And yet it's also each of you also being these incredible spiritual leaders with dynamic contributions to the evolution and consciousness. And so you're not only receiving, you're also contributing to this week together. So I'm just going to pop over the Facebook group. Yeah, so one of the takeaways, yeah, it's a perfect way to start the day. Beautiful, beautiful. All right. Well, thank you, everyone, and see you in the next masterclass. I invite you to pick up the multipass if you want to make sure that you have access to all of the calls on demand, and to join me and the Magdalenes for the Birthright of Love, Code of Love, which is really a game changer. Just a reminder that our full Magdalene Codes journey starts on 11/11. So if you want to find out about that sooner than later, then you can also email my team or request it in the Facebook group. All right, see you in the next masterclass. Much love and appreciation, everyone. Bye for now.